What's good, beautiful people? This is the Popcorn in Your Beer podcast crew. I'm your host, Rashad, right here along with the fellas.
Hey, what's up, man? This your boy Duke, your favorite fat person.
And last but not least, I am the King MOE.
And today we're going to be talking about House of the Dragon, the new Game of Thrones series that just came out that has everybody buzzing right now. The story of the House of the Dragon takes place about 200 years before the start of the Game of Thrones series that we all know. The episode starts off with a bunch of bangers, and the cast is star-studded as usual. What would you say you liked about the show?
I mean, I like about the show already how it starts off pretty fast and intense. Like, normally stuff like this take time. It really wasn't no warm up. I feel like they had the people waiting for a long time. So to start off slow would have been it wouldn't been justified, brother. So they came out hard. They came out good. I hope that episode one, I mean 2 and 3 doesn't like disappoint or whatever. I hope they ain't spend too much energy on one. But so far, one I was yelling, I was screaming at people, man. It was crazy.
What about you, Mo?
I mean, to bank off of what Duke just said, the first episode was loaded. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many different aspects of just like a cinematic experience, so many different emotions off the rip. I mean, you had love, lust, greed, savagery. I mean, there was death, there was a funeral, there was a baby born, there was sex. I mean, it literally like hit everything that you could possibly think of in the first episode. So I hope that they don't shoot themselves in the foot with loading so many different things into the first episode, but it was definitely when I think about other shows that I've ever seen in the past, like this is definitely like top 20, like first episode out the gate being fired.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say that same thing. For me, it was the dragons. Like, because you had 3 dragons in the last series in total. This
Hmm.
one, you already starting off with 10. So it's like the dragons are here. So the dragons are here, and I think like that was I like the dragons at first, but I think like I like the story building from the original Game of Thrones, but I feel like once the dragons got brought into the picture, the story picked up as far as action goes. Um, so yeah, I would say for me, the dragons and just the story building because they're all new characters, so you gotta learn them all again. So I feel like they did a really good job at like story building and then implementing the dragons like immediately into it. So it
Right.
immediately pulls you into the show.
Yeah.
So what would you say is something that you don't like?
Um. The one thing I don't like, what it's a couple things with me for it to be the first episode. Um, I do feel like they tried to cram too many storylines so fast because I was confused about a couple of characters.
Mm-hmm.
Like the girl at one point, you know, they were saying she the princess, but then you had the other girl. I'm like, who was her? And then you had the uncle, which I thought was like the brother-in-law to somebody else, and then the council, like the council, they showing the council. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, I felt like they put too many people right away.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I felt like they should have like slowed that down a little bit. Maybe they did it maybe like as a filler type thing, like to
Mm-hmm.
like add people in there and instead of focus on like the 4 or 5 major characters.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the another thing I really didn't too much care for was the CGI of the dragons. The first dragon, the gold one, I love the way he looked. Um, the third one we seen, I really didn't. I don't know. I felt like they was trying to make too many different types of dragons. It's almost like having like a whole bunch of different type of horses or whatever
Gotcha. I can
type
understand that.
type deal. But to be honest with you, I mean those are very small things to me,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the only thing I can really tell that I didn't care for.
Mm-hmm.
To piggyback off what you were saying about the dragons, though, I thought it was a very cool thing to see the dragons as a normal thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like before, it was like in the original series, it was so surprising and people was in fear. Like they showed when she was riding the dragon came back. They had like people jobs was to put the dragon up, almost
Mm-hmm.
like a pet or a horse or something, which I thought was cool. So, um, to see that the dragons, to see in this that you might have to have more than dragons to scare somebody or to conquer something.
Mm-hmm.
From the looks of it, I think it's going to be dope.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Mo?
Um, the one thing, it's one thing that I didn't like about the episode, but I'm having trouble trying to figure out how to word it without it being like a spoiler. But I will say this: I'm gonna set that one to the side. I did not like the King's Throne because I just feel like you shouldn't have to risk your life just to sit down on a throne made of
Yeah.
9,000 swords.
Uh.
And then I'm just like, bro, like, I've seen lots of thrones
Mm-hmm.
in a lot of movies. It was different. I will say that. I've never seen a throne look like that ever in
Yeah.
my life.
This is like your first time
If that movie,
experiencing Game of Thrones.
look, if that movie was done in the hood, that throne would have been made out of butter knives. I'm gonna just keep it a buck. Somebody look like Dave Chappelle from the reparation episode would have been sitting on 1,000 butter knives.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, I was just like yo, like that's wild.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you the king and you walk into the throne and you had a couple of sips out of the goblet and one false step up them steps and you out of there.
Yeah. Yeah, I
You
can
gone.
understand that. I can understand
And then
that.
everybody was like, "What happened to the king?" They was like, "Man, he slipped on that red carpet and his throne is pointy as hell." So I mean, hey, it was the
Yeah.
time to go.
Yeah.
But like you said, this really is my introduction to Game of Thrones because it was never a show, me personally, that I got into. So that's part of the reason why I love being a part of this podcast so much because it's like in order for me to be on point as a fellow cast member, it's forcing me to kind of step outside of my comfort zone and immerse myself into things that I wouldn't have before.
Mm-hmm.
So this is definitely for me, this is like day one. So
Right.
you know what I'm saying? But based on what I saw earlier today in this first episode, you know what I'm saying, I'm definitely ready for the next episode, man. Let's see what's happening.
All right. I mean, as a student of film, CGI is always gonna stick out to me. I I try not to be like the biggest stickler on it, especially when it comes to like streaming stuff, because I know like it's more so meant for, movies, like it'll come out a lot more. But with a movie with this amount of budget, the CGI on certain parts was very noticeable on the dragons. In particular, the like the seats and stuff like that, I believe, on one of the dragons. For me, I would say that was probably my biggest problem. I felt like there were a few pacing issues, but it wasn't anything like really serious. So I feel like the character development is going to come over the course of time. I mean, you kind of got like a few of the main characters, their personalities already. So I feel like from there you're going to get a lot more character development going forward. So it's kind of starting off like the last like Game of Thrones series where they throw a bunch of characters at you and you don't know who they are, and then you got to wait to figure out who is who. So I mean, I feel like it's a Game of Thrones thing now. So I feel like that was probably one of the things, just like partial pacing issues and the CGI just on a few things, but nothing too serious. I'm excited for the show and I'm ready. So if you had to give it a rating for the first episode, what would you say? Was it popcorn in your beard?
Oh yeah, it was definitely popcorn and beer. Popcorn and beer, and I couldn't find my second bag. I couldn't find the second bag. I was looking for it. Somebody got me from a popcorn.
Gotcha.
I mean, I agree. I'm even willing to give it like a 4 out of 5, to be honest with you. Because I mean, the thing about the episode that I like the most is, like I stated previously, it just hit so many different marks, so many different emotions, all in one episode. Which most people, they like to, like Duke say, have a warm up, or Rashad, like you said, a build up to kind of lead you into all this stuff. But I mean, this first episode was wild. Wild.
Yeah.
I did not expect 75% of the stuff that I saw to take place in that episode. It was a lot.
Yeah.
It was a lot. Do you hear me? This first episode was crazy.
I have to agree. Definitely popcorn in my beer for me. I'm willing to go 5 out of 5 for me. Simply
I'm not even mad at it.
simply because this first episode to me was better than the Game of Thrones first episode. And I love the first episode of Game of Thrones because I really wasn't about to watch this thing I wasn't going to watch the original Game of Thrones until I saw the first episode. I was like, man, anybody get into that. Man, I watched that first episode, but I was like, give me one.
Well, with me, it took me like it took me until Ned died for me to be like, wait a minute. I used to work with some people, my coworkers was forcing me to watch it. I was like, all right. But when I seen Ned die on the last one, I was like, wait, hold on, wait a minute. Because at that point, he was the main character. Ned Stark on the original one, he was the main character.
Yeah, I would say for me with that one, that was one of those like, they gonna save him. He ain't about to die.
Yeah.
He ain't got to swing that sword. Oh, they gonna save him at the last minute. They not. He not stopping. Oh God.
Birds. Why the birds flying? What's going on? Yeah, so the first episode was crazy.
Yeah. The first season. Yeah, if this first season could be anything like that first season, it's gonna be a smash. But that first episode to me is one of the best first episodes I've seen on a TV show in a long time. Kind of reminds me of that first episode of Invincible. I don't know if y'all watched that yet, but that first episode of Invincible kind of starts off kind of like, it's just a little slow. Then like the ending, it just mad.
Just blow up.
Yeah. So now let's get into a little bit of spoiler talk. So if you have not, I repeat, if you have not watched The House of the Dragon, cut it off here.
Now.
You've heard our thoughts on it. Just if you do plan to stay on, hey, I don't mind. You're more than welcome.
Look,
but come back.
If you don't click off of the video right now, you're doing it to yourself.
Come back.
This is about to go down.
Hey, what Craig say? Hey, come back.
Come back though. But okay, so spoilers. Spoiler alert. Let's talk about the elephant in the kitchen. Yeah,
there's a couple.
That baby birth.
Listen, all right. I'm sorry for interrupting you, but I'm not sorry for interrupting you, brother. I didn't realize how important it was for you to have an heir, brother. This man, brother. I'm the type of person, bro. I find the comedy by mistake in anything. This is what I see. man said,
Mhm.
hey, two things is gonna happen.
Mhm.
Either they both gonna die or one of the two have to die. He said that.
Yeah.
He said, this is what he said. So I can say the baby, she died.
He did. He totally did. He said
If I
that.
said baby, she gonna die.
Yeah.
He was like,
I hate to set us back, but I feel like there was an African American part. Somebody black helped write that part for that scene because it just seemed like a typical black
brother,
person reaction to something
that
like.
that is
But
so.
one of the things that I said I didn't like, since we're doing spoilers, I'm gonna get into that. So I guess the best way I can say is that birth was kind of hard to watch. I know initially
was.
they told
yeah.
King that, look, we gave her as much medicine as we could without affecting the birth of the baby. But when they started doing the C-section, I completely forgot that they had medicated her at all, because I'm thinking they just doing this like just
Nah, brother.
like she didn't have nothing, like wide awake.
Yeah.
You know what's
C-section, and I was just like,
you know what's
that was tough. That
you know
was
what surprised
tough.
me about that? What surprised me about it, right? So, oh no. So what surprised me? Hold on. Bro, come on, call me, bro. What surprised
What
me?
continues to surprise me is how Russian intelligence just finds a way to get into your technology, my brother. That's what continues to surprise
No,
me.
somebody called my cell phone, and it's hooked up to the iPad. But
It was like, oh no.
what surprised me about that was when he gave her gave them the head nod, like, yeah, go ahead, do it, whatever. I thought they was gonna have some type of traditional technique or something. I thought it was gonna be like some type of traditional technique where her arms are bound. It was something they just pull old girl down on the bed a little bit more, like, hold her. No, you hold that leg, you hold that leg. Hold on. Like it wasn't like no medieval time equipment, brother. It was straight rusty knife cut this thing open, bro.
And they finessed her. That was like, because the king, he was all massaging her hand. He was like, "Yep, let me get that."
Yeah. I won't lie. At first I was like, oh, okay, he gonna say the love of his life, baby gotta go. When my man said, when I knew it was gonna happen was when he was like, I love you. It's gonna be okay. I was like, bro,
Yeah.
she
Like,
about to
brother,
go. She about
Listen,
to go. And then they
brother.
scooted her up. And she was like, wait, what are you doing? I'm not gonna
Like
lie.
they
That was
pulled
tough.
her up the bed like she was running from deep. Like,
Yeah.
just like, I was like, word?
but when they did that,
This is finna go south.
listen, when they did that, I turned to a mad black woman, brother. I was in that thing. You bet not. You bet not. Come on now. You brother, I was screaming at the TV. You bet. I know you not. I know you not for no baby.
Bro,
Not for no
I
baby.
was like,
The
what?
moment that it set in that she wasn't gonna make it, that's what made it hard to watch.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
they just
yeah.
slicing and dicing and reaching in and pulling, and I'm like, could you imagine
Bro, it
feeling
was like
all of that pain?
it was that plus the visuals of the blood,
Blood.
plus
That
the
what
Right. Because
sounds of her
normally I'm not like a
begging.
squeamish person like that.
Yeah, it put
Like,
the
I can
sounds of
sit
the sounds of
through
her begging
a
for them to stop.
I can sit through a lot of things with a straight face and not be squeamish, but
Nah, brother,
that was tough. That
I
scene was
was
tough.
I was
one
I was
one
twitching.
thing one thing I can say they got right. It wasn't Sweet Baby Ray's, that's for sure.
Oh no, that was blood. That was blood.
I
That
think
was,
somebody I think
that was
somebody
top notch.
That was definitely top shelf.
they need to do some investigation because that
That,
is the
brother. And
Now
then
I'm
like
gonna
she
tell
was just
you,
laying there afterwards. And I was
but and so I don't
I'm gonna give you another example of why I feel there were people from our community who were involved in writing these some of these scenes, because directly after that, Buddy sat down with the king at the table and was like, "Look, man, I'm sorry you just lost your wife and your son, but we got to talk about who gonna be." And I said, I paused it right there. I promise you, I paused it because in my head I heard, "Look, man, I'm sorry, man. Look, grandma, she in a better place now. You know what I'm saying? It hurt to see grandmama go, but we got to talk about this will and who gonna get the money, because she left all this money, and we got to figure out who's gonna go to." And it's like you can't even grieve because your family is like, "Hey, grandmama left money in the will. We got to split this money up." So when Buddy sat the king down at the table, it was like, "Hey, man, you just lost your wife and your son. Your son wouldn't on this earth for but an hour. But we got to talk about who gonna take the throne when you die, because this is important." And if I'm the king, I'm like, "Are you serious, bro?"
Yeah, yeah. But I didn't feel as bad for him simply because I thought he was gonna actually be a good character. He turned out to be a straight up d-hole.
Dirtbag.
I was like, bro, and then you lied to everybody. You like, God, bro. I was like, how you make that decision and stand there while it's happening? I was just like,
for me, right? This is how you know it was good, because anytime movie, TV show, anytime
it make you not like a person.
that too, but anytime a movie or whatever could take you to a place where you forget that this is not real. Like
Yeah.
I went to a place because I remember sitting there. So after I erased or got myself back together about the whole birth or whatever, and the guy was sitting there holding the baby, and I heard that baby breathing funny.
Yeah,
I
not gonna lie. Yeah, same.
You don't kill this lady and this little big head baby ain't gonna what listen, I was mad. I
Yeah.
was mad.
Duke was
And
big man.
bro, I was mad, bro. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, bro, I was mad. And then with the whole funeral thing, bro, and to see that little baby sitting there all wrapped up next to the mama, I was like,
Yeah, that was tough. That was
I
tough.
I would have been okay with that dragon having a neck twitchy and hitting everybody. Just
Because he was sitting up there like, I already
Jakars
know
on
what
everybody.
he was sitting up there like, I already know why I'm here, and I really don't want to do this, but
yeah,
I mean, you know.
yeah. So the other scene, let's talk about that. Well, I guess it was 3 different occasions because you had that scene, then you had the scene of them coming out and getting all like the criminals and stuff like that, the rapists, the murderers.
bro, they weren't no criminals, bro. They were just pointing at people. Yeah,
Brother,
he
they said,
stole something. I was
brother,
like,
when they said
Now
rapists
that was
and Buddy
yeah.
lost his gonads, I was like, okay, we doing that.
top shelf savagery.
We
You know
doing
The
what?
that.
camera didn't show it, but I'm sure a lot of
Listen,
Oh,
people
they
was
showed the
wearing
after
black Air
part.
Force
They
One.
showed the after part. I was like,
bro, you
A
know
lot
what,
of people was wearing black Air Force Ones in that scene.
bro? Let me tell you what part that got me. That they did such a great job on this. A lot of times when they do things in these films, they do it so perfectly. You know what I'm saying? Do it so perfect. It was one part, excuse me, when they well, I guess they claimed the guy stole something. And they went to go they went to go cut his hand. Brother, his hand didn't come off that first hit.
oh nah. No, they
That's
caught him. They
important.
caught him. They
That is
caught him a few
very
times.
important.
They caught.
I was like, oh,
Oh yeah. It wasn't like that swing that hit Jamie Lannister hand, where it was like that one swing and then it was gone. No, this one was that knife was dull. The
And a
axe,
1,
whatever you
and
used, was
2,
dull.
and a 3.
Yeah, that was like, yeah, they went ahead and choppity chop chop choppity chop 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 chop.
Because
Your
that
hand is
scene
gone.
there was pretty raw.
yeah.
Yeah,
If
and
I must say
then
so myself, I'm talking about they cutting off hands, they pulling pants down. I mean, they were just going
because
crazy.
I'm not gonna lie, when he said rapist and they pulled his pants down, I was like, oh, they about to do something to this man.
Oh yeah.
But they ended up cutting him instead. I was like, oh, okay. Well, still, that's kind of harsh,
I
but
I don't know what's going to be worse, brother.
Yeah, just take it either way. Either way, it's just
that's a wither.
boy. Can you imagine if they brought back them rules nowadays? Oh,
what?
wow.
Or like that other scene where they had the Royal Rumble.
Oh yeah, that was the other
Just
one I was
throw
going to talk
everybody
about.
in there and fight to the death.
That's what I was going to talk about because I was just like, oh, we medieval. We medieval times right now. We just y'all just go ahead and just yeah. So I will say, like, the only thing that kind of brings me back to that to the old one that was probably a little more gory was when the Mountain was fighting Pedro Pascal's character, and like he like squeezes this man's head and it explodes. I was like,
that's the way you punched him, and his teeth came out. About 7 teeth.
He hit this man one time.
Whack at 7
32 teeth came out.
Bro,
it was just like,
you heard what's the thing called? Mo, we always talk about the little people with the sound thing. You know the people that we making the crazy sounds with the microphone. You don't know what I'm talking about.
Beatbox?
No, the people that
auto tune.
The people that be on TikTok, man, with the microphones.
Oh, you talking about ASMR?
Bro, that would have been a perfect one, bro.
To do what?
Bro, when that man got punched in the face and his teeth came out, you heard every single tooth hit the ground, bro. It was. I'm gonna send you that scene,
bro. That scene was crazy.
It was funny
because he hit him, and it was just like you just knew it was over at that point.
It was funny. I'm not gonna lie. People gonna hate me for this, but he deserved it. He deserved to die.
He did because he didn't shut up. He won the fight. Honestly, bro, he won the fight. It was over.
It's a smaller cat beat up the Mountain. The Mountain is like 7 foot, 500-pound dude.
Yeah,
and he was like Mayweather and the guy, like just hitting him with little stuff, stabbing him a little bit. Dude couldn't handle it.
Was tearing him up. Was tearing him up, bro.
Got a little cocky. The man grabbed his cocky. Hit him in the face. 7.5 teeth came out. That was it. Smashed his head in.
Yeah.
Everybody screaming. No, don't cry now.
Yeah. Like a watermelon. It was bad.
It was bad.
The only other scene in House of the Dragon that I want to spoil, because I actually thought this was hilarious. Mm-hmm. But when the king's little brother bought the pleasure house, and it's a lot of OnlyFans activity going on in this pleasure house. Mm-hmm. The one person, when he was ready to speak, who decided to address the room and shut everybody up, was in the corner getting topped off, but was like, silence, she's gonna speak. And then there was Buddy under a spotlight, like clapping cheeks, and he just stopped and looked over his shoulder and was like, what are you about to say? Like, didn't pull out nothing. He just sitting there, and the girl, both of them just looking over like, okay, what he finna talk about? And I'm like, word, like y'all just, I was like,
yeah. It was.
I was like, yo, back in medieval times, people love to talk about
it was normal.
How crazy the world is today, and how we just don't care about certain things today. I was like, bro, back in those days with the white powder wigs, they was really going crazy. Like they really got us beat in a lot of ways.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. I would say like one of the last scenes like that really kind of like solidified this episode for me was him announcing his daughter as his heir, because I was just like, bro, I was a big fan of Dany. Like Dany was like, bro, like I don't like how they did her. I don't like how she.
I knew it was going to happen though. I knew it was.
I knew the little girl was going to be his heir.
No, I'm talking about Dany.
With the Dany thing, they kind of it. I would have been okay with it if they would have naturally let it progress to that instead of just like forcing it. They just kind of forcing it. I ain't like that part. But this little new one, she look like she gonna be a little terror. And I think it's gonna be her versus her uncle.
Yeah, I and listen, I can see this going a couple of ways. I can see the uncle coming in there and trying to like destroy everybody and make it follow him. But I can also see her doing the same. I can also see her, as she get older, people start talking, oh, you the heir now, so you're gonna have the power to do this. Because I mean, even as a kid, even nobody's it's kind of like how it is now in the world. No, it's a lot of people hates the way the president do things or whatever. Man, so I'm pretty sure it's gonna get to a point where people gonna be in her ear. Hey, if when your dad, because back in those days,
hopefully she don't be like Joffrey though. That's the one thing because
because back in
I
those
hated
days,
that little bastard.
Teenagers are considered grown, like especially girls. If you have
Oh
a
yeah, because it was
those,
that whole thing with Sansa.
yeah,
And like she was talking about, oh yeah, I want to marry him and have his babies. I was like, bro, you 12.
yeah. So
What's going on?
like it wouldn't. You remember? I can see. I don't know who this character could be, but I can see somebody being like a Littlefinger to her. So you remember Littlefinger? How he used to get in
I
Sansa
would
head.
say it would be like that dude. I can't think of his name. Otto Hightower, Otto Hightower or something like that. He the Hand of the King. I could see him being that character. He looked like he a little shady.
Yeah, so like I can see somebody going to her, telling her, "Hey, you could fix this, but your dad has to go." So I'm not gonna lie. I'm keeping the eye on the princess, and I'm keeping the eye on the uncle. I'm
Yeah.
keeping my balls on them, bro.
You know what name we haven't heard yet though?
Hmm?
You know what name we haven't heard yet, right? The
Right.
Lannisters.
They not there yet, though, right?
No, they're not there yet. Because I mean, technically, they're the reason why the dragons don't exist anymore in the newer Game of Thrones.
Oh,
So we'll see, But yeah, I'm definitely excited about episode 2. Yeah, this was a lot to unpack. Definitely excited to see what episode 2 got to bring. I hate these week to week shows, but it gives you a lot to talk about, a lot to think about. It takes you back to your childhood too, because it's like, I don't know about y'all, but I used to love coming home waiting for those daily Dragon Ball Z episodes, and it's like, oh, next time on Dragon Ball. What you mean next time? We just started. But yeah,
I've been watching a lot of Dragon Ball on YouTube lately too.
Yeah.
And for those of you who come back and watch this video, even though we gave spoilers just now, we didn't even touch on half of the stuff that happened.
It's a lot more.
Make sure y'all tune in, man. What is it? HBO Max?
HBO Max. HBO Max.
Get you some and go watch the first episode of House of the
Dragon. Yep. Most definitely. Any last words from you fellas?
Get you some and watch the first episode of House of the Dragon.
There we go. All right, we're gonna catch y'all on the next time of we'll do another TV show review. We'll be here next week. Next week, we're gonna give y'all another review for the episode 2. This episode didn't even have a title, I don't think, but hey, it's the pilot episode. So we're gonna see y'all for the second episode. This has been the Popcorn in Your Beard podcast crew. I'm your host Rashad, along with the fellas.
It's your boy Duke, your favorite fat person.
And last but not least is the King MOE.
And we're gonna catch y'all next time. Peace.